Village and Villagers. The pub, Harry the Sun. The morning bar pleads under the yoke of cold cigarette smoke, a shroud on stale beer's sweet cloy. Down last night the boozy high spirits sprawl over drink-stumbled chairs and sticky tables. Pompey halted on the catafalque still air, the apogee of bombastic repartee at stop-tap. Last orders, please. No sign of life in this morning's bright light, for in the night the moment had congealed. The grocer's shop, Howell the shop. On a sanctuary seat in from the street sits a woman in gossip and queue. Sunlight flows in, gossamer warm, caressing the repartee that's ticking lists fecund drawn down from pregnant shelves. Diamond home the bacon slicer sings, and rashers land like linen on a greaseproof sheet. The peg-wire garottes are rind-round cheese, fast-wrapped bloodless with a magician's deceit. The cold room vault snatches shut on a final catch, and a flitch of bacon trails its soul, falling in a cold mist across the floor. Short, rotund in overall grey, the shopkeeper scrolls illegible bills, please pay at the end of the week. The door jerks, the bell irritates, ladies glide in and out. The baton of gossip has passed on. Next, please, shuffle forward in the queue. The coalman, Ivor the coal. The coalman, commensal in every home, plods through when the coal sheds low. Black-faced masked with a shiny patina of coal dust, soulful eyes, belied by an axolotl smile, languid in the grime. Bent to the Lord he grunts in code as he counts the sacks off his leather shoulder piece that shines brighter than the chalk stirrup of a mating ram. Newspapers line the floor from door to door as into the Green Anderson shelter they go. The oilman, nameless. Deaf and dumb in his plain van, his grunted gestures seance between two worlds. Pale olive skin with the shiny pallor of all men doomed to die. With brass taps turned into tundish flows, paraffin for heaters, oil for lamps, dispensed from genie vats deep inside the van. A heavy aroma lurks just beyond recall. Where he comes from, nobody knows. Where he goes to, nobody knows. The milkman, James the Milk. First there was the dairy, James the Milk, all jugs and white walls, marble slabs, proud churns on guard outside. Then he closed to the milk float burning along, bottles bickering in the crates of dawn. But the local dairy was where the farm mud met its match, and fields yielded to the harvest for our breakfast table. In respect, the countryside and village lent shoulder to shoulder, merging man to land. The cobbler, nameless. Shall the last be the first for this nameless gnome, deep in the gloom of his cobweb home? Or is his last the last of the few? Sprigs tight-lipped he hammers, fixing souls for souls. No, fixing souls for souls. The barest note of understanding as your repairs are placed on the bench. The aroma of leather and polish from shoes resplendent on the shelf, back out into the daylight, for this world is his and his alone. Tap, tap, tap. Newsagents, Ernie's. Ernie had a sweet shop in the pantheon of gods supreme. 2 ounces of these, a quarter of those, almost filled our dreams. Sherbet fountains, licorice, lucky bags, love arts, palmer violets, bubblegum, lollipops, gobs. Stop, stop. Enough pleasure from this den. For he also sold the Beano and the Dandy. Bees are topper too, bastions of humour where a child could retreat from the worlds of woe. But Ernie, he had diabetes, went blind as he watched, as he fingers his watch to tell the time of day. Let us children do, we blinked a bit, poor-faced across the counter, then we were off clutching our comics, sure in their embrace. Then one day he was not there. Poor old Ernie had died. Still, never mind, someone else proffered our sherbet Beano, so all's well in our sticky-finger world. The magic veil of childhood, as thick or thin as the mood demands. In those halcyon days, a magic rare indeed. The empty shop, Elijah's. Elijah's shop was a netherworld. My mum sent me there for bread. Once a week, I think, just to give him trade. The windows were screened, the inside dark with gloom, the smooth wooden counter empty, as was the shop, this room. Turn back to Elijah, a friendly old man, with right hand forever flexed, wrist broken in the womb. What he sells I do not know, but on the shelf are Alibaba urns, painted green with lids and numbers writ in gold. Time here seems suspended, the shop backs away, fading as it goes. I think he sold potatoes, but of this I'm sure. He wrapped the bread in paper, his club wrist as a tool. He didn't seem to mind at all, so I accepted that it was his lot. He was a friendly chap. I think he had a wife. I know he had pigs in a compound behind the shop. The essence of Elijah's eludes me to this day. Dust right through my fingers, and as I turn away, it settles on the quiet room, bedding down for a long, long sleep. The Ironmongers. John Shops. Shop coat light brown, pencil-lined moustache, stub pencil behind his ear. John stands tall, for all the world outside is on his shelves, so the question must be asked and answered with a tight-lipped smile. Have you got? Away into the back of the store, deep his steps retreat, then silence. No sound crosses time, just silence. Then a faint footstep Doppler teases, and it approaches. There you go, that's what you need, agreed. And the balance of parallel universes is re-established. For 2 and 6 the nugget is in the paper bag. Brown bag, of course, like the Hessian sacks of corn stacked on the floor, and maple seeds and other mixes for pigeon fancy's winning concoction. The seeds spill through fingers, and the colour speaks of harvests, of sunny harvests, and pigeons exploding from lofts like snipe in the sunshine, kingfishers skimming streams, to stand in John's shop, spoilt for choice. It is the stuff of dreams. The Rag and Bone Man, Con Fire. Rag bone, rang bone, rang bone. If you miss the words, you'll get the tone. No longer to make glue, it was once, I'm told, but for scrap metal to the dealer born. The horse plodded, gee up boy it plodded, from times of yore, or so it seemed. The Norse nodded, the horse nodded, and Con nodded, the cart nodded. On and on, piled high with this and that. Shiny rains, the whole scenario was resplendent, floating through the village, slowing right down. Red checkered neckcloth, open shirt, ruddy cheeks from sun-long days, and evening pints glinting in his eye. His song of songs, Any Old Iron, was a javelin back in time. Many a galvanised bucket rang to the horseshoes as the spade scooped the steaming splat. The perfume of ages was carried across the mat to our runner beans and peas. The village rang to all walks of life. They carried our life, that's for sure. The coffin maker, unknown. Down the lane in a small stone building, hiding in plain sight, worked an ancient man with peaches and cream complexion. He nodded as enter in. Backs against the stone wall, we hush watched his age's hands turn their skill. Sawdust and shavings on the floor, saws and chisels above the bench. He adds a finish to 2 polished coffins. Brass saddles shining, propped against the wall, contented in his place, he skilfully constructs the inevitable receptacle of everyone's travail. To no avail, but what a beautiful finish. The Boardman. Fictional. Fictional? A mythical figure. A mother's fright for recalcitrants. There was a boardman in her days who shepherded truants back to solitary desks, but now a figment of maternal malevolence, conflated with the beagle. Now who would ask for more? The rabid concatenation of thoughts in the mind of a child, but overreaching all lesser demons was the Black Maria. The wagon to take you in, down to hell it sounded like, but off to the police station in fact. Although long gone the fear remained, all the fear structures of a mother's child were extracted slowly from her shadows and slotted into mine, for unto the next generation. Policeman, Bobby, Bishop the Bobby. The local policeman was real enough, Straight-laced bishops, strict but with a benevolent smile when our backs were turned, a reassuring presence in the corner of a mischief eye. There was another policeman, Mr. Usher, who was spoken of in whispers of trepidation. A right so-and-so, but conflated in my mind absurdly with Russia, and therefore rush you in, a gyrating vortex of anxiety best treated by a flight. Across the meadows at full pelt, catch me if you can, na 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 na.